Okay. Amazing.
Excellent.
Okay.
I'm
We
just
will jump straight into it. Um, so as per normal, if you've got any questions, feel free to just jump in. And same with you, Terry, as well. Like just jump in wherever you need to jump in. Okay, so we're going to be talking about obviously email marketing with purpose. A lot of people have said in the past, oh, emails are dead. They are certainly not. Emails, when done properly, can have such a high conversion rate, and there's a reason for that. Okay, so we're going to be jumping in a little bit, diving in how it all works, and how you can be implementing it within your business. All right. So, first off, why do emails still matter? First off, you own it. Okay. With social media, obviously, I've spoken a lot about the power of social media. Terry and I both have, and having your different memberships and your different groups. But at the end of the day, you don't own your social media platform. Okay. Facebook could shut down tomorrow. Just the other night, or not last night, the night before, massive platforms crashed. Okay. So this is where it's so important to be growing your email list because at the end of the day, this is really the only thing, um, or one of the only things I can think of that you actually own. Okay. You've got that information saved. And as well, um, emails are landing where socials can't, which is directly to that inbox, directly to that person. Because imagine if you were then sending a direct message to every single person through socials. It just, no. Takes a lot of time. It just doesn't work. And then suddenly you can't keep track of anything that's going through. Okay. Um, Now it's not, you can only do emails or you can only do socials. So let me move over here. It works hand in hand with each other. Okay. So socials is really you want to be nurturing and emails as well. You're nurturing, you're building that relationship, and then they're working hand in hand with each other to help you to grow your business. Now let me just no, it's gonna be a pain. That's fine. Okay. Now, the thing with emails is they don't just inform people that they connect, they convert, and then they compound. Okay. So when we're looking at emails, they are personal, you know, they're permission based as well. I'm going to have to come over here. They're permission based. Okay. So people are voluntarily signing up to your mailing list. So it's not like you're cold calling them, right? They've already shown some interest in what you're doing. They want to learn more. Okay. And it's purposeful. There is a point to everything that you are doing with your emails. You're not just sending them out for the heck of it. Okay. It all needs to be part of a strategy in order for you to continue to build that client base or that customer base and move them along that buyer's journey. Okay. So they've become aware of what you do. They have jumped on a lead magnet or they've gone to a workshop or whatever it might be and they've signed up to your email list. And now's the time where you get them engaged and slowly move them along to then convert them. Okay. Now, as well, if I'm moving too quickly or anything like that, please do let me know. I just know we've got time and we all know how
all good.
quickly time goes when we're in these workshops. Okay. So, what makes an email worth reading? So, for you guys, I'd love you unmute or anything like that. Um, for you, what is an email that you've received recently that you actually opened? What was it about that email? Obviously, it doesn't need personal, but like if there's a newsletter or something like that, what is it that got your interest?
Going to say my pay slip, but apart from
Mm.
that,
Well, that's always a bonus too.
Big incentive in that email.
yeah, yeah. Um, oh, look, I think catchy headline, I think is is the starting point. Something
Mhm.
that um, grabs your attention, and then I suppose it might be topical, so it might be a challenge that I'm having at the moment with a project, or it might be so there's an ingredient solution, or it might be just general news item,
Yep.
but something there just goes, oh, okay, I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know this business was up for sale, or this business has made an acquisition, or that's really interesting, or
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we're looking at emails, the ones that I see converting the best, it comes across that they sound like a person. They're not a business. And that's just following on from everything that I've said previously about people supporting people, not businesses, and how they're communicating. So they're communicating through you in a way that they've shown that value straight up, but they've got some sort of catchy subject line, right? So it piques that interest, and that's been designed in a way specifically for their target audience, which is what you are. Okay. They tend to tell a story that we can relate to. Okay. So it's all about thinking of the why. Why are you sending this email? What is the purpose of it? If you can't answer why you're sending an email, then you shouldn't be sending one. Okay, there needs to be a point with everything, because if the person reading it can't figure out what the purpose of this email is, then not only are they not going to do whatever you've asked them to do in the email, but you've lost some trust as well, because they're less likely to actually open up any other emails, because everyone's time is valid and they'll think, well, this was just a waste of time that I can't get back now. Okay. They offer something that we care about as well. Um, I don't know if I can change. Hang on. Okay, cool. I made me smaller. Um, I was like, I'm getting in the way, and then I can't read this. Um, so yeah, it adds some sort of value. There's something about that email that has intrigued you in, and it offers something that you care about. Okay, so whether it's a news topic or an ingredient warning or whatever it might be, it's of interest to you. Okay, and again, see, I'm still doing it. It doesn't. Um, the emails that are worth reading don't waste your time. So, like I was just saying, they add value. That is what makes a great email work. Okay. Now, when we're looking at breaking it down, the anatomy of a great email, okay, we've got the subject line. All right. Short, sharp, slightly unexpected, but the important thing is it's human. Okay. We're not talking about clickbait. Um, subject line, max 5 words. Absolute max. Okay, is 5 words. If you want to put an emoji in it, I would just put one. But again, if you don't normally speak with your socials with emojis, then I wouldn't be putting it into your emails. Okay, because your brand voice and how you're coming off online, or how you're coming off just with how you've already interacted with your target audience, you want that to continuously flow. Okay, and you want to hint at the content without giving it all away. All right. When we're looking at the preview line, now sometimes depending on what software that you're actually using, it will allow you to put in a preview line. Sometimes it doesn't, but if it does, we don't want any clickbait. Okay, it's nothing more infuriating than clickbait. Um, it works, but it's very frustrating, and again, you're losing trust and credibility. Okay, so nice, clear, short, specific. And you want to be avoiding sounding too obvious or too salesy. Okay. Reading. Personalized. There's nothing for me. I automatically sort of lose a bit in relationship points for that person when I just see a hi and then I'm like, is this actually sent to me or is this just been bulk sent to everybody?
You know, one of the things I've seen recently, Morgan, is instead of people just starting with a hi, and this is something that's really engaged me, is there's a couple of people are starting to send emails and saying, I read this and I thought of you, Terry. I wanted to send it to you. So they're still using my first name, but rather than opening with the generic hi or hello, blah blah blah, they're starting a conversation and putting my name into that, which I really love because it just felt even more engaging and kind of more connected than it's like the emails that I would send with like you and Kat and Kirsty and whoever, as opposed to sending out to my general group, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
Yep. That is absolutely another way to do it. It's personalized in some way. You feel like you're talking directly to that person rather than just a very generic, this is for everybody. And that's the same when we're looking at socials as well. We're talking to a specific person. We're not shouting into the void, and it works the same with emails. Okay. Depending on your software as well, how I've got like the different coding in there, depending on your software, it could be completely different. Have a look on what you're using, and you can basically set it up so it's sort of the same, and then it will just automatically put in that person's name. Okay. The body. It's relatable, it's helpful, it's human, natural, and it's story driven in a way, right? So
Sure.
even just like with what you were saying, Terry, right?
Yeah.
Like I just thought of I saw this and I instantly thought of you, right? That's a story within itself.
Yeah. And the other thing that really gets me is short one. If it's a long email, if I start reading it and it's interesting, I then actually scroll. And if it's too long, I don't finish it.
That's the same with me with socials, to be honest. I'm like, I don't want to be reading a whole book.
Mm. And I mean, the thing is if you do have a lot, you can always say click here and take people to a blog because people expect the blog to be long, right? I don't read blogs. I read emails, I read socials. I don't do much else. So, but if it's of interest, I'll absolutely click through and read right to the very end, right? So I think if we've got really long, a lot of content that we want to share, that directing people to a blog who specifically want to read that is more powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be obviously depending on your target audience and how your brand voice is set up, but you want to be avoiding over explaining or over hyping or terminology that you wouldn't normally use.
Sorry, I was having a conversation with my husband. He got mansplained to this week. He said mansplaining should be illegal for men explaining to men. I'm like, well, and you think it's okay for them to explain to women?
Yeah, it's like flip that, would you?
We'll just leave them explaining out of everywhere.
So sorry, just a quick question around this. So is it better to then be sending out more frequent emails with if you've got more content to share
Yep.
than it is to have a really big long one?
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
So to speak to that, because it's something that Morgan and I have chatted backwards and forwards about, there's a bunch of people who will tell you that, daily emails are spammy, right? I was in a training program back when I was in Brisbane still. I was helping to run an event called 9 Keys, which was with 9 Points to Business Growth or something. It's with Real Bergen Doyle. So Real is one of the coaches that I'm working with now. In that room was a guy who is one of the top 10 marketers globally, Australian bloke, very, very successful. His primary focus is e-commerce, but he's a marketer, right? More than anything else. And somebody asked exactly this question about how often they should be emailing, and he literally rolled his eyes and said, if you are sending your emails less than once a day to your clients, to your list, you're not worth it. It's not worth it, basically. And it's about filtering and having people, if you've got the right, I don't know whether different platforms can give you options as to what you want to hear from people about and how often you want to hear. Um, but he said basically a default is everybody should be emailing every day to every client. I'm not sure how we manage that. However, as a marketer, that's his perspective. And
Mm.
I know that when I see emails come in from people whose business I value and I want to learn from, I'll click on those nearly every day. And the ones that I don't, they go into my spam folder. There was another guy in the room who's like, oh, yes, if he has content come in that he wants to use, but not right now, he'll take one of those emails, saves it in a particular folder, unsubscribes. And then when he knows that he wants that information and it's a good, like, he's found these decent sources, he goes back to that particular folder and then re-engages with the business. Like we can, the thing is that we have, as humans, we've all got the capacity to share. It's not on us to choose that our email is seen as being spammy to our clients. It's on our clients to choose as to who they listen to and who they subscribe to.
Um, and I think I've got a slide in there as well. Yeah, I did. See, how often should you be
We
emailing?
were going to talk about this already, Stuart.
Oh, I'm always ahead of my time.
Always, always.
Um, yeah, Terry and I were talking a lot about it. Because at the end of the day, my perspective, and again, there's with all this information out there, I don't feel like there's one clear way and that's the only way you can do it either. Um, I think especially e-commerce, there is a lot of value in doing the daily. Doesn't mean that if you don't do the daily, then you're going to fail either. Um, I would suggest starting it at once a week. Keep it consistent and visible. If you can go up to daily and it is still bringing value, you're not just sharing emails for the heck of sharing, then absolutely go for it. But I think with everything with business, don't, my perspective, don't jump in and overcommit yourself where it's just even more stress just because you feel that that might be the only way to do it.
Yep.
Well, that's the power of VA, but that's beside the point. I think
Yeah,
there's still got to be planning and strategy behind it.
Yeah.
And I
100%.
guess the risk for someone like myself is I tend to overthink it.
Yeah.
We're going to address that in a little bit, Stuart. I've got some stuff to help. We've got some stuff to help you with that because I'm an overthinker as well. Um,
Yeah. Yes.
the other, like the flip side of what we are just saying in terms of frequency of emailing, there are two emails that I open almost without fail. One of them comes from James Clear, who's the author of Atomic Habits. And he has a single email that he sends out once a week. It's one of the biggest emailing lists on the face of the planet. And it's called the 321. And it's three of his thoughts, two ideas from someone else, and a quote. And he follows the same structure every single week. And it's a really easy read. It's quality content. It's short and concise. There's links to go to wherever if you want to. And it's very predictable with when it comes out. And he's got millions of subscribers to that email list.
Wow.
And then another one that I've just started is Stephen, what's his name, that does Diary of a CEO podcast.
Yeah, Stephen Barrett.
That's that guy. Yep, love listening to that man's voice. He has just started an email called 500 CEOs, and so you can submit questions, and he will put it to the CEOs, and then something comes out from usually about three of them in the emails that I've been receiving. I don't know what the pattern is. I think it's once a week, but it's certainly not a daily email.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the thing is that with those, they are always packed with value. And so I actually like the 321 email. I actually look forward to that each week. So it just, you know what I mean? Like there's a complete polar opposites really in terms of the ethos and but you look at what your strategy is for your own business and where you want to sit and how and design then all the pieces to fit in so that that you have that continuity with the customer experience all the way through.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
and does it have to match your social media um, approach? Like, for example, like, is it helpful to lift content from your social media plan for the month to shove into emails? Like, is that a
Yeah.
help or a hindrance, or does it
It's
just
called
reinforce?
repurposing.
That
Yeah.
is repurposing. That is something else we're going to get to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Sorry, don't mean to steal your thunder.
no, this is really good actually, because I
No,
mean,
this is good.
um, the thing about repurposing is that there will be people who see your social media who don't subscribe, and there'll be people on your subscription
I
list
got it.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah,
who
blah,
may
blah.
not even follow you on social media, let alone actually see your content, right? So yes,
Mm.
it's the same information, but it just has continuity of messaging as opposed to being a duplication. If that,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing to keep in mind as well is, and I'll dive a little bit more into this, but I think it ties in nicely with what we've been saying, that with your emails, and it's the same with any other messaging, it's quality over quantity, right? So if you've got the value to add, you know that this is something that, you know, makes it a great email, then by all means, if your systems and your energy allows, then you do that. You send them out how often that you would like, but I'd also be keeping an eye on your open rates. Okay, because I know that there are some platforms, I'm not going to say all because how can I know if all platforms do it? Where basically after a while, if you've been sending out emails for, I don't know, 2 months, but you've only got a 20% open rate, after a while, it can actually alter so that your emails basically go straight into spam because they're thinking this isn't of great value, clearly, because no one's opening it. So it works in a very similar way to socials. In that way, you know, it's looking at, is this of interest to people? How many people are seeing it? How many people are reading it? So that's just something that you want to like keep an eye on and shift with the emails that you're doing. So you make sure that there is continued value in that. What I will show, where is it? There. Okay. Something. There we go. So something else that I always add into my emails is the PS. Okay. I add that to the bottom, and it is really where you either repeat, you reframe, or you nudge your key message. If you wanted them to remember one thing from your email, that is it. Okay, so you can use it to, if you're repeating the key message or you're offering a nudge, or it's something that you want your reader to think about and really consider. That's where you want to be putting it in. So it holds a lot of value. Now, something that you can do is actually just set up your template. Okay, so again, depending on your software.
Just before we go too much further, Morgan,
Yes.
I can't remember where this came from, and I would like to go back and double check the validity, but I want to share it anyway. The PS gets the most attention and the most attention in terms of most people read it, and it gets the most retention in people actually like remembering it or doing what's asked in that PS as opposed to any other part of the email.
Yes, it holds a huge amount of value. So that is something I will always include in my emails. It might not be as obvious as PS, but sometimes it is.
Great place to put your call to action, right?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, if you want more of this, blah, 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 right?
Yeah. Really, really solidifying what do you want them to know or what do you want them to do? Putting it straight in there. Now, I know that we do have some links to send through to some documents, but for the life of me right now, I cannot remember what that is. So Terry, feel free to just jump in whenever you need to.
The documents, the handouts we've got for this one are, it's a brainstorming on what you can actually put into emails and then structuring. So probably later, I can't
Perfect.
Yeah.
I've got something in there for the brainstorming, but I was like, I know there's something else and I
Yeah, no,
cannot
the other
remember what
one
it
comes
is.
after the brainstorming, so that's all right.
Thank you.
No worries.
Um, okay, so I just wanted to quickly show my template that I use for my general emails. Okay, and I'll go into this a little bit more. But so as you can see, let me share my ooh, okay. Sorry, it's like really small on my screen, so it looks a lot bigger there. So I've got my hey, now that is generic. I go in and change it, but then I know that is my template. That's where something goes in there. I add my body. I almost forgot to add, right? That is my tailored PS for each individual email. And then I have my sign off. But then in each email, and I don't this doesn't change throughout it. I've also got this. Okay. So that no matter if something comes up, they can always go back and they can go, yeah, I wanted to book in a free discovery call or whatever it might be. If you get emails from me, like with my Gmail, you'll see I've got something very similar below my signature. But for my email marketing, I've got this as well. Okay. And so that doesn't change. But the PS that we were talking about, that's this here. I almost forgot to add. And that's where I add my PS. Okay. So, especially time wise, it can be great to just simply add in. You've got a main template that you work off, and then instead of having to build it every single time, I just go in and I add my text and I'm good to go. Okay. All right.
Can I ask you a question, Morgan? And this is more from a
Yep.
client kind of perspective. You've got
Yep.
3 calls to action in that section.
Yes.
Why 3 as opposed to just 1?
Because so let me do this. Okay. So,
That
ooh, okay. Never
section
mind.
underneath your banner there where you've got book a
Yep.
free, I
Yep.
need glasses.
No, that's okay. So within the email, so that's my main PS, but then
Yeah,
down here, this is simply because they, after a while, it gets in the mind that they know that that is there. It's easy to access. It increases the usability for the customer. So
yeah.
then if for some reason something comes up and they're like, oh, actually, I really need to book in a strategy call, or oh, I really need to have a look at this discovery call, they don't need to go searching for a particular email.
Yeah.
It's just more already in there for them. But this, yeah, that's why I've got that in there. It's giving them options, but it's also this isn't the overall point of the email. This is just sort of like the footer that is in every email.
So in terms of the size of an email, I mean, at the moment, obviously you've got no body in there, so there's no, but when you look at what your email looks like on a screen, the
Mhm.
section from where your images are, that template a bit at the bottom versus what you're adding it, what's the proportion there?
So when I've actually done this screenshot, these are a particular size, and then when you're actually reading it on email, depending how you're reading it, if you're reading on a desktop or phone, this all shrinks.
Yeah, so no, sorry, I didn't obviously ask that question.
Oh,
What I was
sorry.
asking was like you've got that templated section that say your email is this long, right? I'm just trying to make
Mhm.
sure I'm in shot. And maybe your body is this much. Is it like a third or a quarter or something of the overall length of what it presents like when people are looking at it?
Uh, probably like maybe a third,
You know. Yeah.
maybe or so. But again, it's down below. So then when they open, this is the
Yeah.
main thing they see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. That's okay. Um,
So is that also a way in which you can highlight the services that you want to push at any given
yes.
time?
Yes.
Right. So if you want to focus on, let's say for me, food labeling or food labeling and new product development, then I could have those two in there, plus the free consultation if I wanted to go with the 3. the
Yep.
3-point
And
model.
that's the thing, you don't need to go for the 3. It's
Yeah.
personal preference, really, in my view. But yes, you want to it gives you an opportunity to subtly like, hey, I've also got this if you need additional support, but it's also not the main point of the email, and that's where I have that other PS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when we're looking at emails, how does it actually fit in to the customer? Oh, the customer journey. This was not my brightest idea, I must say. When I was creating these slides, I didn't think of this. So you want to be thinking of emails as that as a way to be nurturing that path, not that constant pitch. Okay, because we know like if emails come off like really, really salesy, and that's sort of the whole overarching message, it just sort of falls flat unless that person is specifically looking for it. Whereas if you're looking at it as a path along their customer journey, it's nurturing. Okay, so it's a chance to guide, not just sell, and it's a conversation, not a campaign. Yes, there are email campaigns, obviously, but it's about forming that conversation, and where you're creating a bit more awareness, and then there's eventually some engagement, and you're building on that relationship with that person, and they're building that credibility and that trust that they hold with you, instead of just buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. Right? So the same as what we do in BX. Okay, so now I can move back somewhat normal in my seat. So there are certain ways that you can touch base with your customers. And that's your welcome sequence. It can be your nurture. You can have a nurture sequence, or just sort of like a general mailing list, a newsletter that goes out. That's all about nurturing that list. If you've got offers and launches, you can have automation set up. So, after they've had a meeting with you or something, a follow-up email goes out. Okay. Or it can be personal check-ins as well. Just, hey, been a while since we chat. How are things going? Okay. And it all follows along in that customer journey and nurturing them. And again, like I said, it's working hand in hand with your socials and other ways that you're connecting with people as well. Okay. Well, I clearly stuffed that up. Oh well. You know what? Tech is working better than it has in the past, so we're fine. So yeah, not every email actually needs to be selling. Like I was saying, it's about that conversation, not the big push, but they should serve. They need to have a purpose. Okay, so it can be a story with a purpose. It can be behind the scenes reflection. It can be a quick win or a client moment that you've had, or offering a tip, or offering a specific call to action, like a really, really specific one, or some sort of offer that you're doing. Okay. Okay, I can't remember my train of thought when I did this, but oh well. This is my welcome sequence. So you do not need to have this many emails in a welcome sequence. This is just something that I had implemented after going to Sarah Cordoner's bootcamp. And the great thing is, with your sequences, depending on how they operate, you only need to set them up once, and then you can leave them. Right? So it can be a little bit of work right at the start, but essentially, for anyone watching the recordings, or if you're not sure what a welcome email sequence is, essentially, as soon as someone signs up to my mailing list, or their email in some way is added to my CRM, whether they've booked in a meeting or whatever it might be, they automatically go straight into this sequence. Okay, and I've got that automation set up so I don't actually have to do that manually. And weekly, they will go in and they will actually receive one of these emails. Now, obviously, this isn't in order because this is just I had to go in and edit something, and so it just pops up with the last edited. But there are 12 emails. Okay, 12 weeks of that email sequence, and in each email, it serves a purpose. And in some way, this email sequence has all of these in some form or another. Okay, so overall, it's building up that relationship. It's nurturing. They get to know me. They get to understand how I operate. They see the business. They see the personal brand. They understand what I offer, but they understand how I communicate. They hear client stories. They get tips. And then that email 12 is where I sort of make a little bit of a push, sort of be like, hey, if you've loved all these, I actually offer all of this in the story lounge, right? So you're leading them down that journey. And then once that email sequence is finished, they automatically then go into my nurture sequence. Okay. So it just automatically moves them along that journey. All right. And then that's where I had, how often should you be emailing? But we're going to skip that. So we've already spoken about that. Okay. Remember though, you don't need to have a fancy CRM to be doing this. Okay, it's not about that you have to buy expensive software or you have to write an 800-word essay every week. You don't need to. In fact, I would very strongly recommend that you do not write an 800-word email. Or to be honest, if you want to go and buy the expensive software, you go for it, but you don't need to in order to be doing this properly. Okay, it's about using what you already have and choosing tools that suit you. And personally, batching is a massive help, right? There we go. Now it comes up. It's coming up on my screen, but then takes a while to come up there. Yeah, batching monthly and repurposing. Okay, so like we were saying before, if you've created a social media post and you're getting your VA, or if you've got a bot set up or whatever it might be, and this is what I do, I can create a social media post and then I go, okay, now I want you to write this as a blog. And it's taking that same information, that same main message, and writing it in different ways to suit. And then I go, okay, cool. Now I want you to actually turn this and write it as an email because, again, it is different ways of communicating. And if you really, really look, I can't even think of examples. If you really have a look at how someone is writing on social media versus how they're writing on email, there are very slight changes in the way that it is created, but as an overall, it is still their brand voice. It still says this is them. Right? Sort of the uni in me coming through with all like the textual interventions and all of that crap that I've tried to block out. But it serves a purpose. Okay. You can repurpose the same content and write it 3 different ways. So you can have your blog, you can have your social media, you can have your email. One idea written 3 different ways to serve to a particular purpose. And you've just saved yourself a whole bunch of time. Okay, so just because you put something on social media doesn't mean you can't do it on your emails. And as well, not everybody on your social media is going to see that content. You know, like we've said, actually, I think it's shrinking the percentage, but it used to be only about 20% of your followers will see your content. Okay. And it makes sense because if you think of all the pages that you follow on social media, are you seeing every single thing that they post? No one has time for that. right? And so that's where you follow it up with the email, and you can space it out as well. You know, it doesn't have to be at the same time. You know, like that it goes up on social media at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday and at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday for email and blog. You can space it out as well, right? Um, when we're working smarter, not harder, like I said, build a strong template. So you can use that over and over again instead of having to recreate it the whole time. You can go in and add, you know, shift it up a little bit, but you've got that template ready to go. That would save you a whole bunch of time. And with the batching monthly as well, if you've got your VA or a bot that does it, and if you've got that template ready to go, you can create. And if you're emailing once a week, or if you're emailing daily, you don't want to be worrying about it every day or however often you're doing it. So, I mean, I've got something in the Story Lounge where I basically showed how I created 5 weeks of emails in 30 minutes. Right? Batching is going to save your mind in so many ways.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to add to that, Terry?
No, it's just that I've got some stuff to share to help with the batching and getting the ideas for the batching. So yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know that that's coming up in a second. Okay. We spoke about the sequences as well. So again, you don't need 27 of those. You just really, and again, I hate the word you need, but just a few that can work really, really well. Okay. You've got your welcome sequence. Honestly, I think every business, if you've got an emailing list, which we've said is so incredibly important, you've got to have an email sequence in some way. It does not need to be 12 emails. It can be 3, it can be 5, but it's something automatically that welcomes them in as soon as they've jumped onto your CRM. And they start to feel like they know you a little bit. Okay. It can be your nurture sequence or your newsletters. Newsletters. I meant to say news. Okay. You can have a sales sequence. So if you're launching something in particular, or you've got a competition going, or whatever it might be, you've got that sequence ready to go. And again, batching that can save you a lot of time because you can do that in advance and you can schedule that to go out at certain times or on a certain date. Then you're not having to worry about it. And your abandoned cart sequence. Okay, so you don't need to actually have a physical, an actual store to have an abandoned cart sequence. You can have some form of an abandoned cart sequence if someone has gone to book in a call with you, or it's come up that, you know, they've had a look at your landing page and then haven't quite converted. That's where you can kick them into your abandoned cart. And you can have, depending again on your system, but you can have automation set up. So it will show like, okay, if this person has jumped on here and they actually haven't booked in a week or whatever it might be, they automatically go into this sequence and then they work their way through and they start getting these emails. Okay. Sequences, I feel, are really, really great ways to save your peace as well. But it helps to build that client relationship because they're not waiting on you. You know, we've got lives, we've got businesses to run. It would be impossible to be touching base with each single person on my mailing list and sending each individual email. That's why I've got those sequences in place. Okay. But we do have some brainstorming. So Terry, I'm going to let you jump in here because you've got all this.
Awesome. So I'm going to send you a PDF into the group chat just now. It's loading. It's on its way. But I'll share it. Can you unshare so I can share, please, Morgan? So what I've done is I find when I'm sitting down to try and sort out email sequences, I'll put my hand up and say the reason, 100% why Morgan is doing most of this coaching on today's call is because my emailing is crap. I know what to do, but I haven't been implementing it. And a lot of it in my case comes back to I overthink it and then I don't stay focused on it. If I can sit and batch stuff and plan things out, generate a whole lot of ideas and then run forwards with it, I'll get it done. And I haven't at this point dedicated the time to doing that. For either like 10,000 Dreams was never a great one, and Margala Advisory, well, that's the next couple of weeks. That's the whole goal with being here is setting some of that stuff up. So what I've created here is something that I need. I'm assuming because others will use it as well. So what I want to do is take a little bit of a step backwards. All these sequences and stuff are really great. And I 100% agree with everything that Morgan has shared. And I get stuck before I even get to there in terms of what I'm actually going to message people about. Who wants to learn about me? What have I got to share that is actually going to be of value? Now, I had a really great demonstration of this on Sunday. I've been here in Malaysia for I'm across here in Southeast Asia for 3 separate programs. I just did the second one on the weekend. It was a program called Powerful Presentations, which I have done before, but I went back and redid it here. And I did that in Australia and I did have redone it here. I ended in a group of 60 odd people. I ended up on stage as a finalist because each of the groups, whoever was the best presenter within the group became a finalist. And I got up there, nerves completely overtook me. So I don't feel like I presented well. However, part of the process was that we all got these 3x5 cards with feedback from people. I got a stack of cards literally this thick, right? And the number of people, now I felt like I got up there and did a really crap job. I didn't feel like I had, delivered the value that I wanted to, etc. And yet out of all of those cards, every single one of them made a mention to the quality of the content that I offered because they didn't know what I was offering, right? So it was a really big validation to me that the stuff that I have, the people, because these people are interested, right? The people who were there, a lot of them are my target market. So even though I was sharing stuff that I thought was kind of almost irrelevant, like there was bits of my story, there's bits of my dreams, my goals, what I do, how I do it, all this stuff. So many different people made different comments, and some of them even got into specifics about what it was that I shared. And there was lots. So what I'm saying is why I share this is because it's very easy for us. I find it's very easy for me to go, I've done that, but it doesn't matter. And yet for my clients, it does matter because it gives them a greater insight into who I am as a human, my authority level, and how I can help them. So all those little things that are like just a part of our sort of day-to-day can actually be really important in terms of building that relationship and actually ultimately helping our clients. So to that end, I created, after a little big old brainstorm in a train station, and then the help of Kirsty, I've created this brainstorming document. So you can see, Stuart, if you've got it, I think it's 4 pages. But what I wanted to do is to give you a space. As I said before, I'm a fan of a short email. There's quality in everything, and if you've got a lot of content that you want to share, then that's in my opinion the most powerful way to do that. Unless you've got like an established system where people are looking, like I said, with the 321 email or the Stephen Barrett one, then I believe that it's most in a general sense from that a short email with a link to a blog if you've got long stuff. But for short things, ideas, what I want to do, and I actually would love if we've got the time to spend maybe 5 minutes of actually doing this today, is I'd like for all of us to go through and write down 2 or 3 things that fit into these different categories, more if you can think of it, but something that's a hot topic in your particular zone of genius at the moment. What are something that your client, is a client need, right? So Stuart, where we spoke the other day about What your client needs is to be able to sleep at night because they know that they've got themselves covered legally with the ingredients that are in their products that are going to market, right? So what is it that your client needs in terms of the security and safe, the security that comes from knowing that they've got that support from you? What's trending in the spaces, right? From a food perspective, all these, I don't know, whether it's about protein powders and the value of that, right? And what to look for in a protein powder that's good or bad. What's, the incidence of I don't know, something that's blowing up in social media. Like, I'm not enough into foodie stuff. I can talk to you about chicken satay though. I wish you didn't have an allergy to peanuts, Stuart.
Oh, so do I.
Oh man. Anyway, so funny stories, like even like stuff that happens in a lab that nobody else is ever going to see, right? You would have like I know that you love humor, Stuart. You would have so many funny stories from your career that you could share with people and redact information so that you don't, out people that don't want to be outed. But just to connect with that human connection, right? Interesting discoverings. I don't know what's going on in the food space, but like the things that we find that are like if it's interesting to you, it's also likely going to be interesting to your clients. What it is that you're currently working on? This is a great way to do a very low key call to action. Right? This is I'm kind of brainstorming and I'm thinking about I want to do this and is this something, do you think this might be of value to you? It's a great way to start a conversation backwards and forwards. Trivia and fun facts, jokes, we know you got those covered. What you've learned, right? So whether it's learning, even it's about like the fact that you are investing your time and energy, Stuart, to get into this program on a regular basis, you can share that with your clients, right? Maybe it's about not everything you have to share needs to be in the food tech space only. Mistakes you've made, favorite quotes, embarrassing moments. Like there's a bunch of different things in here, right? I tried to look at a whole range of things that are of interest to me in terms of when I'm building a relationship with somebody. Like I've just met another 50 or 60 people across the weekend. The kinds of conversations that have engaged me, they're the things that I put in here as little topics. So if we have we got some time, Morgan? Where are we going with what else you've got? Because I'd love if you to spend like maybe 5 minutes, Stuart, to give you, and I am actually going to do this with you for myself, some time brainstorming so that you can actually get some ideas out and start this process. All right?
Yeah. We've got heaps of time, so
awesome.
You can.
Have you got yes, we've got the PDF here that can guide you, Stuart, but even if you just make notes on your own, I don't know whether you can actually edit or anything, but
I have Adobe, so I can put comments in or text in, and I can even sign it if I really want to.
There you go.
If I want to feel special, I can add my signature.
So I haven't. Where I am, I can't actually see. Has the document loaded into the chat properly?
Yeah, it's fine. I've downloaded it.
Excellent. Yep. All right. So I am going to stop this share for a moment because I'm going to share some music and give you a little bit of time to actually work on this. If I can find the right spot. Computer audio. Check back in about 5 minutes. Did you get something in each space?
No, not at the moment. I think there's definitely some areas that I need to think about a bit more.
Yeah. Have you got though? How many different ideas you reckon you've got so far? Like,
I've got one to two in most boxes. There's a couple of gaps. Goals was hard, like because I keep on thinking about why do people want to know about that? Like that's literally my response. Like, why do they actually want to know about that? Like, I know it's
yeah.
self-serving, self-interest, but how does that work in this context?
So it doesn't need to be about, in when I put goals on there, I wasn't thinking in terms of, you saying what you wanted you to generate as turnover or that sort of thing. More around that your goal is to help small business owners to sleep at night.
Okay.
Those sorts of goals, like, or, whether the work that you do with the Anaphylactic Association, I know that that's not the right term, but the work that you do in that space and the awareness that you want to raise so that people who live with allergies can live a safer, easier life, all that sort of stuff. Those are the sorts of things that I was thinking about in terms of goals, because like it's not about the dollar. I mean, yes, it's about
Hmm.
the dollar so that you can live the life that you want. But none of us who are like I don't actually work or want to even have a conversation with someone who is driven by money alone.
Hmm.
Everyone else that I work with is always driven by something else, and money is the byproduct.
Yeah.
Right. So it's what you're actually driven by rather than the dollars that you're trying to generate.
Okay. Got it.
I know. And I mean, the part of that too is like what you would like to see your business grow to. Do you want to end up with a team of, 25 food techs and, franchises around the country, or do you want to stay, I don't know, because maybe someone's looking there going, oh, how do I do what Stuart does and how can I
Hmm.
work with him? And, you just never know what will come out in terms of, I mean, I've had a guy approach me while I was at the event this weekend, actually, who wants to uh, he wants to come on board as my salesperson. Now, sales in my space is, whew, it's my least favorite part, right? I just want to get in, have conversations, and do stuff with people. I don't want to be asking for the money. And he's like, "Oh, I'll do your sales for you." I'm like, "Mate, I don't have any funding to be able to pay you.
Hmm.
It'd have to be commission only." He goes, "Yep, no worries." So, like, so I was talking about the business that I was creating and what I want to do, and he bought into that because it's something that he's driven by as well,
Hmm.
and he loves sales. I'm like, happy days. So if you get
Hmm.
a phone call from a bloke called Henry, he's a Chinese Singaporean. Um, anyway, no, not really, but but anyway, so you just don't, the thing is that when you share these things, um, it helps it like the biggest part in when I was thinking about all these brainstorming things is about helping you to build connection with the people who are reading your emails, right? Whether they become
Hmm.
your clients, whether they become an even louder, supporter, whether they maybe it's about them connecting you with some big, project that's going on that then so you get the capacity to grow your business even faster. You just don't know what's going to come out. But I do know that if you don't share, nothing will
Hmm.
come, right? So the stronger we can build that, that's where the goal was in that regard. Were there any other sections that were sort of a challenge for you in terms of that whole why the hell do they want to know, or what, or you couldn't think of something to put in there?
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, like current projects. And I guess I just need to learn how to redact what I'm working on a bit better.
Mhm.
So I think there's some really interesting stuff that I'm working on that I just need to be able to unlock some of those stories.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't have anything in the interesting discoveries because I just couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. Funny stories, there are probably lots, but I'd just have to unpack that. And then there was a couple of others that I need to think about as well.
Yeah. So for the purpose of this document, one of the biggest things is getting the ideas out of your head, right? It's unlocking
Mm.
doors, getting it out, and then getting it in a way that it can be massaged, right? So even if you like, my suggestion would be, okay, my favorite way to do this is with a glass of wine. I don't drink very much, as you know, although when you see me, it's probably the only time I do drink. Anyway, I drink very rarely. I don't have a problem with
What are
alcohol.
you saying, Terry?
That if I'm out in a group of people where I trust them, that's when I drink the most. Anyway, it's the inhibition thing, right? In this whole process, like what you're saying is exactly what I experience, in that why on earth would someone want to listen to that? How can I say that in a way that doesn't break someone's confidentiality? All those things, right? This particular document is for your eyes only, Stuart. So, and when you've got that little itty bitty shitty committee sitting there going meh, 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 right? The one of the easiest ways for me to actually turn that off is to sit there with a glass of wine, which is I very rarely do any business related thing, anything to do with alcohol, right? I keep them very, very separate. But these things where I've got to turn off the itty bitty shitty committee, a glass of wine, couple of sips in, I'm like, it's fine. I'll just get it out on paper. It's just that one step. And then from the paper, you then it's gives you a different perspective. And then you can go, okay, if I don't want to use um okay, I want to talk about, John who did some really stupid thing in the lab and like just about blew us up or whatever, right? You can change then the name of the person, the specific thing that happened, the venue, the date, whatever. So it's not actually like you can then go in or like take out all that information that's not actually um, relevant to the story. It's relevant to your memory, but it's not relevant to the story. And so that way you redact that, you save their confidentiality, you don't put yourself at risk of legal lawsuits, all those sorts of things, right? But the getting it out, again, like I said, that's where I stop. So that's where a glass of wine I find helps. So whatever your medication is, I'll leave that up to you. Right. So you've got some ideas there now, right? And hopefully you can see how, so projects, without sharing specific details of names, etc., what are some of the key projects you're working on at the moment, Stuart?
One of the most interesting ones is an ice cream project for a specific target demographic.
Awesome. That's so cool. All right. So, um, like just like expanding on that, the basics of that. Like I'm there going, oh, what are the sorts of things you need to consider? Like not the specifics for what you're
Mm.
creating, but what are the different elements you need to consider? What is it that makes an ice cream as opposed to some kind of whatever that other word is when you haven't got enough? I know that there's something to do with the cream content, right?
Fat,
Um,
yeah,
so
What's the difference between an ice cream and gelato?
the fat level, yeah.
yeah, all of these
Gelato's so
things,
good.
right? All these things that are, because isn't there something too about the volume of dairy for it to be called ice cream as opposed to a frozen milk I forget what there's some term in Australian stuff. You'd know this. Do you get what I'm pointing at here?
It's milk fat. It's the percentage of milk fat.
Right,
You need 10% milk fat.
right. And so if you've got too much, if you've got over 10%, it's still ice cream, but if it's less than 10%, you can't call it ice cream. Is that right?
Correct.
So right there, that's something that's really fascinating, right? How do you even things like what do you do about balancing the flavors and what do you do about how do you make it what's the things that you can balance to make storage life better without losing the quality of the food? Like
Mm.
all that what is it that plays into the mouth feel? Because some ice creams you put them in your mouth and you just want to spit them back out again, regardless of how good they taste, right? Because they just feel gross in your mouth. Why is it that ice cream goes granular after if it's been like, sitting in the freezer for a bit too long?
Yeah.
Right. So out of that one thing, like all of these things, all those little bits that you think about on an ongoing basis while you're developing this product and all the conversations backwards and forwards with your client, you've really got a whole nother email in every single one,
Mm.
right? Because it's just a little
Yeah, okay.
snippet, right?
So that and they would probably be in the interesting discoveries as well. Like, a lot of those concepts can be spoken about in that context as well as. So, right, I think I'm thinking too literally about current projects. So
Mhm.
all of that you've just unpacked is, yes, it's related to a current project, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a specific project. It's a collection of projects that I've worked on over decades of
Mhm.
being in the industry.
Yeah,
So yeah, okay. So that's pretty cool. I think I've got um I can think of some more there for that.
awesome. That's awesome. Where is so the next step from that then is to let me get this other thing into the chat here. I should have had this prep before and didn't think about that. So once you've got your brainstorm stuff there, right? You can sit and I'm a big fan, like we know that we can always just go to AI for this help, right? I'm a big fan of actually pulling the stuff out of your brain organically. AI, in my case, I use it. I know Morgan uses AI a lot more than I do and is much more of the expert on this. In my case, AI is like the first step in a brainstorming session. Or if I've written something and it's really long and wordy and I use it to condense it and then take that as a first draft of a condensed version and then make it terried, right? I terrify it. So but if you have a look in the email that is the document that I've just put into the chat, it's a planning document. Now, obviously at this stage, it's just I put 5 weeks in there because we've got let me just share this one again. 1 second while I organize some stuff in the background here. All right. Can you see the spreadsheet on the screen now? Yeah, cool. All right. So what I did was looking at there's 4 weeks in every month and a couple of extra days. So however you shuffle this, you can just extend on it, right? But essentially when you're sending an email, when you're sending emails out, don't mind me, I've just lost the screen I was looking at. There. All right. Where is my pointer? Oh, Zoom's changed since I was in here doing this last time. Sorry. Can you see if I just get away from that? Can you see my can you see a
We can see your cursor.
cursor? Awesome. I was looking for a spotlight. I don't know where it is now. I'll have to go and learn Zoom again. So when we're sending out emails on an ongoing basis, we want to make sure that we mix up the purpose of the emails, right? We're always talking to our particular target client. And if you've got a couple of very specific ones, then I would, well, it depends on which one you want to grow, but I'd suggest that you sort of set up emails for one group first. Again, it's about that batching, right? Get your emails really good for one to begin with, and then step into the next one, into the next group. Some emails though will cover both, right? So think about that as you're doing it. So things like when you're talking about product development, it'll be different for a smaller business than it would be for a big business, like a small just getting started in the industry sort of thing, versus big established businesses who want to bring you in and on a regular basis with consulting stuff. But what I've done is sort of taken all those topics out of the brainstorming sheet and spread them throughout the month with a regular recap on a Sunday. Now, it doesn't have to be Sunday. You can do whatever you like with this. This is a suggestion. But taking that basic topic of whatever it is and then adding your ideas to it. So where we were just talking about the ice cream, developing the ice cream, this is a hot topic of, well, this is what actually makes an ice cream. And then going further into the details of it. So this could be also used in terms of that preview line and the body sort of content with this topic and ideas section that we have here at the moment. But essentially, if you look at it, you've got all those different things. Once a week, we want to put out some kind of like a stronger version of an offer, not too early. When you've got people who are This is for people who have been on your mailing list for a period of time, who already have some kind of relationship with you and who are wanting to be, that you want to be actually sharing content with regularly, as opposed to those who have just met you, just come into your nurture sequence, right? Because I'm not ever going to suggest that on day 4 of them knowing you that you suddenly pitch to them, right? That's way too early. But if they've been through your nurture sequence, know you well already, then they can go straight into this one. So, but essentially what we've done is just gone through all of those ideas that you put down on that brainstorming form and have spread them out across the month to the point where you've got a hot topic here. We've got the recap on the once a week. We don't get down to a hot topic again until halfway through week 3. So where you've done all those different ideas that you've put onto the brainstorming sheet will easily translate. If you've got something in every box there, if there's 2, 3, like we're going to go through that twice in a month. So if you've got 2 ideas in every box, you've got a month worth of content already like brainstormed out in front of you. That's for daily emails. If you're not going to send them daily, it's even longer. And if you've got more than 2 in each box, then you've got like maybe 3 or 4 months worth. So the whole idea with this was just to take that, put into a structure, scatter some offers throughout, and then have a recap on a Sunday so that if you've got a CRM that has the capacity where people choose to just get like a summary email, that they'll get an email every Sunday or whatever day you choose. So I know that you've gone off camera, Stuart. Are you able to respond for a second? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sure. Have you got any questions?
Not right now.
Right. So this is a suggestion. This is the sort of thing that helps me with my brain, is that take it on, like do a big old messy like brainstorm and then put a bit of structure to it and then expand it out into actually writing the emails. Right. So
I do have one question back to the mechanics of
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
So, in the absence of a CRM software solution,
Mhm.
how do you do the sequence?
So I am using you got to Flintstone it essentially. So keep everything recorded in like, well, I find the best thing to use for the base recording, this is what I used before I started with any sort of CRM, was just an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets, whatever it is, right? But some kind of spreadsheet where you've got everybody's details, where you've got the different categories that people are. So if they're a new person, that they don't go into this thing where you get an offer on day 4, but they're still sitting in that nurture sequence. If you don't have a CRM, you really have to do everything manually. And so the spreadsheet is about doing that. And then I guess the other option is that you can potentially look at using something like Airtable. But again, Airtable has a different capacity, but it's a spreadsheet-based program that then has sort of additional functionality. And then it's about like write those emails, drop them in, whether you have them as links or full things so that you can then copy and paste across, and making sure that when you send them out, like you can still send them as a bulk email. You won't be able to personalize the emails if you're sending them in bulk, because you won't have the capacity to go, hi, insert first name. I don't think Excel can do that at all. But you can still at least have all that detail there and then send it out as a general email to everybody. If you've, depending on the size of the list, put those in there. Having said that, there are some CRMs that are available when your business is smaller that have got quite good functionality, that are free to use. And typically what I've found, and Kirsty, I'd love for you to chip in here because I know you did a bunch of research for me around CRMs. Typically though, if you've got something that's a free CRM to start with, as it grows, your pricing goes up quite quickly. If your entry level is a paid product, as your subscriber list grows, it doesn't grow as quickly. Like it's not as extreme, I guess. Morgan, jump on in, hun.
Um, so I just wanted, yeah, pretty much going on from what Terry had said. I use like Google Contacts. Okay. If you've got Google Workspace or something like that, when you add in your contacts, you can add in labels to them. And then, so that's sort of how I categorize. So I've got, like my networking contacts, potential clients, my existing clients. And then from there, you can export your contacts directly into an Excel spreadsheet. And I was using Brevo um, to do my email marketing, and that can work as a CRM sort of base. But then I actually changed to MailerLite, and I was using the free version. Personally, I found I got a lot out of it in the free plan, and you can import your Google contacts. And then it's just sort of setting up those tags if they don't come across automatically. And with MailerLite, I'm not sure if it still is, but when I was using it, you could create 10 free landing pages. So that could help with your lead magnet. And then once they jump onto that landing page, um, subscribe to that landing page, that automatically syncs in through where you've uploaded all of your Google contacts into that network. And then that can basically act as your CRM. And through there, you can set up email sequences. And you can set up individual campaigns. So, like the once-offs. I'm just going to jump on.
Is that making sense, Stuart?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've got the free version of HubSpot.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm hearing is it's about data integrity, data cleansing, and going to the effort of setting that data up so that it can actually be so that people can be put into the sequences that they need to be put into.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing with some of these things, especially setting up the sequence, it can seem like a bit of work to do it, but
Mm.
once it's set up, you don't really need to touch it, okay?
That's when my eyes
Um,
glaze over.
Tags.
That's why I
yeah.
need that's why I need
Yeah.
someone like Janine
Um,
to get in there and do it, but then she doesn't understand the context of everything, so
no,
Tags.
that's okay. I mean, I
Tags
use
become your best friend in this space because you would have Stuart, even things like I know Kat, when I've talked to Kathleen about her what she's got in her CRM. When she's going, say, down to Melbourne for a food festival of some sort, she will send a sequence of emails through
mm,
to all of her Victorian contacts saying, I'm on my way down. I'm going to be here for this event. Come and see me there. And if you want a branding shoot done, and so quite often she'll go down there with a pre-booked branding shoot on top of the festival, and often or that she'll generate one out of it afterwards when people know that she's in the area, and so they can get the photos done without having to pay travel costs, right? Because it's already covered. So and given the traveling that you do, tagging people in your CRM based on geography would be
mm,
really helpful for those specifically targeted emails. And it may not even be about, I'm coming to your area. Do you want me to help you? It might be, I'm coming to your area and I know that we've worked together before and I love working with other business owners like you. Is there anyone that you know needs my help or that I should have a conversation with? Right. So
mm.
it's not asking them to give you business, it's asking you to help you build
Refer.
your network,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, what's the challenge with the context you said in terms of like Janine finding that a challenge with is there stuff that you want set up in your CRM that you haven't been able to find the help for yet at the moment?
Oh, it's more the that I've done no genuine effort at data cleansing. So it's basically the conveying the message of, okay, how do I categorize going through categorizing all the contacts in there into their different space. Like
Mhm.
that's So I guess that's a task I can certainly delegate. But then is that, I suppose, yeah, I just need to do it.
Well, and the thing is
To
that
be honest, I think that's it. I think that's the point, right?
is this another sit down with a glass of wine session? Is it?
Possibly. I'm getting a lot of those.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Yeah,
I guess
sometimes it's just
that's the
like taking that
context, right?
time.
That's the
Yeah.
context, right? Because you can delegate certain things,
Yes.
um, but it sometimes pays for you to do it because, again, not trying to take it back, but it's more about I know who my client list is.
Exactly.
I know the context of a supplier that I'm working with, and they're not just a general contact, like they're not just
Mhm.
a spam email. They're an active supplier, or they're a someone they're part of my referral network or
Yep.
whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Or they might even be a past client, like a client who I've finished with and will never hear from again, or a client who has finished with me and they never want to hear from me again.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I've certainly got some people on my list that I'm like, yeah, I'm not ever going to worry about contacting them because I don't want to work with them and I don't want them to know what I'm doing. Um, there's not
I
many,
mean,
there's one or two. So,
the
it's important to know that.
yeah, and the other thing you can do as well, Stuart, if you're feeling strapped for time or wanting to delegate in some way, is you can write it all up, do it in a Word document or something, and then simply send that to your VA and go, can you format all this and get it scheduled to go out? Like I've
yeah,
done that before. I've just sat down and I've written it all up and I've just given it to my VA.
yeah.
I'm like, can you sort this out?
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw Janine under the bus in this
No,
recording
no,
either,
no,
by the
you're
way.
good. No, no, you are all good.
And it's
Um,
not about Janine, it's about any human, right? Because
No,
it's that
yeah,
knowledge that's inside your brain that we can't transplant to somebody else's. So yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's it, 100%. I think it's looking at because I mean, oh God, I haven't used HubSpot in years, so I know that it would have updated and changed and things like that. But from memory, and I mean, I know that HubSpot is pretty good with what they do. Yeah, I'd just be having a look, or even Googling as well. Setting up email sequences in HubSpot. I mean, Google's my best friend.
Yeah.
If there's
yeah,
something
yeah.
I'm not 100% sure how to do on a certain platform, just Google it.
Yeah, sequences is not something I have access to on the free package.
Okay.
That's my biggest bugbear at the moment is that I have to upgrade to get access to certain very useful features that I'm starting to look at, right? So,
Yeah, yeah,
and
and that
that's the annoying bit is that
yeah,
I then have to recreate it somewhere else, which then I find that's just like, you know, nail gun to the no, I won't use that I won't use that
yeah,
reference, but it's just sort of
yeah,
like
Hmm.
well, yeah, I
yeah,
could
and that
invest.
yeah, that can certainly be a pain. Like switching CRM platforms can be such pain, and I guess that's where going in and having a look at the different research, different
Mm,
platforms with the free plans, what they offer, what their limits are as well. Because I know like it's, once you get to a certain amount of people in your mailing list, then it will go up or it's how many emails you're sending a month, which again correlates to how many people you've actually got on your mailing list. Because you could be sending one email, but it's actually going
Yeah.
out to 60 people. So it's 60 emails. Um, and
And
yeah, just
every
finding one that works best for you.
mm,
every platform will have like, well, they have some will like they don't, it's not just freebies will have this one and then like they use different parameters, I guess, for their pricing structure. So just be really aware of that as you do some research. Kirsty went through and did we've just moved across to Brand Suite, which is Nat Fogarty's platform, which is a white labeled version of Go High Level. But before that, I started off with a spreadsheet, then I went to a platform called
I
Drip.
didn't realize that
What's that?
Yeah.
that it was Go High Level rebranded.
Mm. So
Oh
is the
wow.
Yeah.
Ordner stuff that Matt Morgan's using. It's Go High
Okay.
Level as well. Um,
Yeah. Go High Level basically took their overall plan and then sold it to a
yeah,
bunch of people so they can create their own platforms, but
yeah,
it works the same. It might just have different features in it, but yeah, that's what it's
yeah.
based on.
Because if given that I'm not a tech-based person, going in and creating your own CRM out of Go High Level is about as much fun as having teeth pulled without anesthetic. I've been from what I've been, but when you look at what Sarah has done with whatever her tech, anyway, Sarah Cordner that Morgan works with uses Go High Level for her basic thing. Brand Suite is based on Go High Level as well. So anyway, but what I looked at was Brand Suite offers a lot more than just a CRM. And so when I looked at all the other costs associated, the monthly single bill for that was more than had been paying for my CRM, but I also got all this other stuff. And that's still growing it. And because I've come in at the early part of her business, she's grandfathered the pricing. I don't know whether that applies to everybody, but for me, it was a no-brainer, even though it was a stretch when I first got into it. We had actually been using Brevo as well just before we went to Go High Level because Kirsty and at the time Mitch was still working with me. They worked on did some research for me on the different platforms that were available because Brevo gave a very similar capacity to Drip but a lot lower price point. So, but there's as many CRMs as there are days of the year. I think there's so many of them out there. Uh, but you can definitely do some have a look at the research, look at the things that you need, look at what you're looking for now, and then have a look at the different platforms that are available. It's pretty hard to say this will work and this won't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm not asking. I suppose I'm not asking for that. It was more just that's the situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to jump into MailerLite, but it's being a pain because when I changed my phone way back when, it
Uh-huh.
changed the two-way authenticator on the app, which is incredibly
Uh,
frustrating. So now I need to get in and
yes.
talk to the Connect, because I was going to sort of just show you how you can do the sequences versus the campaigns, which campaigns is more like a once-off within that platform, and learning it because again, I learn better when I physically see what is
Yeah,
happening.
same.
Um, I tried. It's not letting me in.
No, that's okay. All good. The other thing that I find frustrating with HubSpot is that, if I create an email, within the platform, it's single purpose, it's single use. So you have to recreate.
Oh,
You could have a template, but you have to recreate the email every time.
oh wow.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
hard
that's a
work.
yeah. HubSpot can be great, but really you need to pay to actually be able to use its services. It's very limited in the free plan. And then it
Oh,
can get very
they've got
costly.
they've got great services except for where I think it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they know that
And that's a marketing ploy, yeah.
Yeah.
because there's all
That's
of
the
this
thing.
stuff
They
that I
draw
don't
you in. It's
use.
like, oh, you know our brand. You know that we're really good and we've got all this to offer. Start with the free
Mm,
plan where we give you a little bit, but then you're forced to upgrade.
mm.
Yeah,
Which is where I'm at now in terms of decision points.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
great.
Did you have any other questions, Stuart?
No, I think I need to sit with what I've learnt today. Um, Probably the only other comment that I would make, and I'm not an expert in this whatsoever, but I've been listening to a podcast lately, and they have a mix of, it's a business podcast called the Australian Business Podcast, believe it or not. And they have a range of different topics from accounting to marketing and stuff like that. They were talking about a potential conversion rate from email marketing of, say, for every dollar you invest, 36 comes back. Because of people, especially e-commerce, because of some of the tactics that you spoke about earlier, like,
Mhm.
the unclaimed, what's it
Abandoned
called?
cart.
The abandoned cart and,
Yep.
um, you know, tapping into trends, all of that sort of stuff. Um, oh, you haven't bought this for a while. Would you like to see our catalog? All of those sorts of techniques. Like they were talking about the fact that it was a really high return on investment. So is that what you see? I
Yeah,
mean, like
that's
not.
certainly what I see. I don't run email marketing for my clients, but I have seen what they can do. Sorry, I don't know what that is. It's all right, Cusco. It's okay. I don't know what that is. Um, Something
Do you
just
want to
went
check?
bang in the backyard and it's still
Oh,
going. Um, um, Sorry. Yes, but yeah, emails are certainly not dead. They can
Hmm.
have a huge conversion rate when they are done properly. The return on investment when done properly can be incredible. And as well, what we're seeing is as well as emails, it's the SMS that comes through, right? So every few days I'm getting a message from Pet Barn um,
yeah.
saying on their sales. And to be honest, it works because then I can
Hmm.
be like, okay, cool. They've got a sale on. I'm going to jump on and buy food now.
Hmm.
Or I used to get messages sent through from one of the fuel servos saying like, oh, cool. If you use this message, you'll get this sort of deal. So it's like, okay, well, based on how much petrol is costing in Oki, I know that with this one and this deal, I'm actually going to save a lot more. So I'll use it, you know, things like that. So yes, it can have a really great conversion rate. And again, you can set up a sequence. So like if someone hasn't engaged with your site, you can touch base with them and set it up. And it's, oh, they haven't opened an email in 2 months. They're gonna jump into this sequence and it's gonna go, hey, just touching base, here's a special offer for you, trying to get them to re-engage.
Yeah. There's actually
Hmm.
one of the things that I love the most about having a CRM that it's been in every paid CRM that I have used. So I don't know if it's a standard, but if you have a particularly important email that you send out, say like when you spoke at that event that was around anaphylaxis and stuff 12 or so months ago, right? Where you really want to get people there. If you send out an email about it and people don't open it, you can then do a resend that same email in 24 or 48 hours. Like you set a time frame for people who don't open it. Often you can send it with a new different subject line. So it potentially draws people attention and go, hey, I didn't want you to miss this. I've sent it again. Right?
Hmm.
Mm.
I know, or like, and just as is it, I noticed that you didn't open the first one, so I've sent you this again because I really want you to get this information.
I've
Right?
actually noticed that a lot on, sorry to cut you off. I've noticed that a lot on, like, oh, we've looked at your website. We've got 50 million tips to offer you. And then all of a sudden, and
Ugh,
you get another email going, hey, just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure you received my first one and just have a look in your spam
yes.
box. And then you get the third one.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
no unsubscribe buttons is the ones I've been getting lately.
Oh,
Mm.
that is so illegal.
I know completely. And like you're going to get on here and tell me to that I'm going to come and do up your website and I don't follow actually any legal practices myself.
Mm.
No.
Exactly. Yes. And
Yeah,
that
cool.
that is actually the thing. Well, I haven't seen any CRMs that don't have it in there, but you need to have the option for people to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
And there have been new laws that have come in, especially pushing with certain industries over others, but um, you can fall into the spamming laws if people haven't actually opted in to be on your mailing list. So you can't just grab someone's business card and then chuck them on your mailing list. I mean, a lot of people do, But technically you're not allowed to.
That's interesting because you used to.
Interesting. Yeah,
You used to.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
technically you're not
Okay.
allowed to. I got I got called out, and again, one
Oh,
of the lessons that I've learned,
Yeah.
um, I had met a lawyer at one of the networking events, and I'd had a chat with her and it was all good, and I got a business card, so I added her to my mailing list.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I sent an email that she didn't see the value in as much, I got an email saying, I never actually opted into your mailing list.
Ah.
Um, which isn't technically legal for you to do, so you're falling into the spamming laws.
hmm.
Heads up, do
Yeah.
it again and I'll report you. And I'm like, well, you're a cow, but okay.
Took you off because you don't want to talk to her anyway. So what
Yeah.
I know, I can't remember who shared this tip with me, but someone who does now this is I didn't know about these laws existing. So this is like it's something I was told about probably 12 or so months ago, is they would pick up someone's business card, put them into a mailing list, send out an email that was specifically for those people who had been at that event and went, "Hi, Stuart, I met you the other day at BX, wanted to connect. I've put you onto my mailing list at the moment, but if you're not happy to stay there, please feel free to unsubscribe." And they put a big unsubscribe button, so it's very obvious. And then just say, um, and then like whatever. And basically, it's like, if you stay, that'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to connecting with you better. Um, I don't do spammy stuff, but you can always, as always, you can always unsubscribe later if you need to. But it's about picking up someone's card and then saying, "This is what I've done. If you don't like it, opt out now." So it effectively becomes
You've given them the option.
Hmm.
So the term is a double opt-in, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll get on the mailing list, and then you get a confirmation that you want to stay on the mailing list.
Yeah. And I think that that's like legally that's fine to do as well. Like there was something that just popped into my mind, but it was like you've said yes without actually having to physically say yes, so therefore legally you've said yes,
Yeah.
if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Not opting out. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
the around COVID time there was a shift in the laws that related to a space of countries over in Europe, and I don't even know where, but it was that, and the double opt-in became law over there.
Mm.
So there's a bunch of people who just adopted it, so that, not that, I mean, you just never know where people are from, right? So you don't want to accidentally end up breaking laws in areas that and you're not even aware of it.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
But yeah, so next session we've got our very last one for the year. Strategies looking into 2026. That is on November 21st. We'll be sending out an email. So that's going through and launching today. Yeah, no, sorry, not November 20. What did I say? November 21st for strategies for 2026.
We might have to get back to you on that one.
Terry, we
I'm
just confirmed
sorry.
it.
I know we shifted this. Okay. To give you some context, Stuart, this has changed since we talked, Morgan. I land back in Australia on the 19th of November, and now I need to go to Rockhampton, and we'll be driving that whole day. And the strategies thing was more of my thing. So we'll get back to you on that.
Once there's a date locked in, you will receive an email.
But the next one will be all about, so in preparation for next month, well, I'll send out some stuff in advance, but I'd love for you to just do a little bit of a mental recap of what you've achieved and the progress that you've made this year. And yeah, anyway, I'll forward this, but that's more important right now is to get these email stuff up and running. We'll worry about next month.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
No
It was
worries.
fun as always.
We're entertaining, if anything.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, cool. I got to run, but
Yep.
thank you so much. It was a great session.
No
That's
worries.
all good. Thanks for
Thank you,
joining,
Steve.
Stuart. Have fun at Richard's networking.
Thank you.
Say hi
Cheers.
from
Bye.
me.
Will do.
Bye.
Bye bye.
See ya.